So we got some news earlier this week talking about how Disney plans to release more Star Wars films in the near future. And as much as I don't like waiting for more Star Wars films, it's probably a good thing at this point that we take a little bit of a break before coming back to it. Hello everybody and welcome back to another Star Wars video. My name is Joker and today we're going to be discussing the future of Star Wars with this new trilogy that has just been announced. So earlier this week Disney announced that they're going to be taking a break from all future Star Wars projects after the release of Episode 9 coming out this December. They said they're going to be taking a little bit of a break and we'll be getting to see a new trilogy coming out in 2022. And the whole idea and the whole concept behind it is that they're going to be taking breaks every year to accommodate for James Cameron's Avatar series that is coming back into play. So we're going to be having Star Wars films for 2022, 2024, and 2026, alternating each December with another Avatar film. Now personally, I don't think he needs to do any more Avatar films. I don't think they need to do 4 of them. That's what they have planned. They have up to Avatar 5. And this movie just keeps getting pushed back and back. Apparently, the original release for Avatar 2 was supposed to be 2014. It is now 2019. We're almost getting to the halfway point, and soon enough it's going to be 2020. So I don't see why they're waiting so long, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous in the fact that now we're going to have to wait until 2023 for Avatar 2 to come out. I don't see if there's going to be any hype behind it around then. I think they should have just, take this time off for Lucasfilm, shoot out these movies, and then one a year, and then have another trilogy out. But I can't control that. They got to accommodate for James Cameron somehow, because if they put out both movies at the same time, battling for each other against in a December time for the holidays, it would be a massive disaster for both films. Either one of them would do really well and the other one wouldn't, or they would both drop dramatically because of the amount of competition between them, especially overseas. Now, with the question of there's a brand new trilogy coming out, what is it going to be about? There's a couple options we have. We already know that they have 2 Star Wars trilogies that are planned to be coming out at some point in the near future. One's going to be directed by Rian Johnson, and the other is going to be from Benioff and Weiss, the guys that brought you Game of Thrones. Now, I personally think the first trilogy coming out is going to be the Benioff and Weiss trilogy. I think Rian Johnson is still getting his trilogy, but I think he needs a bit of a break and to go into that and let Benioff and Weiss take over first before they go back to Rian Johnson. Even though there's been so much backlash because of The Last Jedi and everything that Rian Johnson did in that film, and no one likes it, and there's some people that do like it, and it's just like this massive film that has just divided the Star Wars franchise in half, like fan-wise. It's ridiculous. But be that as it may, he's still getting his trilogy. It's going to be brand new characters, so everyone can't complain about it until that happens. So regardless, so if Benioff and Weiss has it, the rumor going around, and that no one has confirmed anything, but the rumor coming around is that they're going to be doing an Old Republic style trilogy, which would be amazing. Now, there isn't a lot of concrete evidence surrounding that idea. Sure, we all want to see an Old Republic trilogy or anything Old Republic related because, the Old Republic stuff that we know and love, such as KOTOR, KOTOR 2, and maybe for some of you even the MMO, the Old Republic, there's a lot of good storytelling in that and a lot of great characters, and the fact that it takes place so far before the events of the Phantom Menace, it's just a great time, and there's so much you can tell there. But the thing is that a lot of these characters are really great concrete, like Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Darth Nihilus, all the Sith Lords that we have, even Bastila Shah. Now, if you're going to redo the Old Republic and get rid of some of these characters, you've got to be really careful on how you're going to do that. Now, of course, we have to think, we have no confirmation that it's going to be the Old Republic at all. Now, of course, Kathleen Kennedy has said that they're looking into it, and it's in production to say they're looking through the ideas of how they're going to do an Old Republic trilogy, if that's what they plan to do, and I'd be all for it, but they got to be extremely careful with this one side, because the Old Republic is a very, very important part of the Star Wars universe because it told so many different stories that no one was really prepared for at all. And I just think that if that's the way to go, first of all, that's a perfect way to go. We finish off the Skywalker saga, as they're calling it, with Episode 9 this December, wait a few years and start this new trilogy, either very far in the future past Episode 9 or way back in the past and around the times of the Old Republic. That way you have open room to play around with and do whatever you'd like. That way you don't have to worry about reoccurring characters or somehow tying it back into the Skywalker franchise somehow. I personally am hoping that if it is Benioff and Weiss, that they will actually end up doing the Old Republic trilogy and they'll bring in some characters that we already know. Sure, you can change the story around and, change some of the settings and all that, but there are so many characters that you absolutely have to keep. Darth Revan and Bastila Shah are perfect characters in the Star Wars universe, and I don't think you need to redo them. Sure, and even Darth Bane for that matter. These are very important characters within the Star Wars franchise. I don't think that we need to retcon every single Star Wars idea that's happened throughout the expanded universe before it was all put to not canon, but there's a lot of stuff that you can still use that would be really good. I mean, we've seen that they've brought back a few people here and there. We saw Darth Bane come back in the most recent season of Clone Wars that we saw on Korriban, or Moraban, whatever you want to call it. So you've got a lot of room to move around with and a lot of stuff you can play with before creating a whole new Old Republic universe. Of course, moving all this trilogy talk aside, this also means they're going to start dropping a lot of the solo films that they're going to be doing, not necessarily solo, a Star Wars story, but all of these Star Wars story films that they wanted to do, all the spin-offs, are kind of being put on hold right now. They might come back to it later, but as of right now, they're not doing anything. Originally, there was supposed to be a Han Solo trilogy of films, you know, because they set it up nicely to start the bounty hunter wars between Darth Maul and Boba Fett. That's not happening anymore, I don't think. The movie did very poorly, and I think it's because they released it too early, but because of that, they're shelving all of the Star Wars story ideas. They're sticking with main trilogies for right now, so we're not getting anything from the new Solo trilogy. So no more Han Solo movies, no more no Boba Fett movie that everyone really wants to see, and if anything, the Obi-Wan movie that absolutely needs to happen is probably right now looking like it's going to be turned into a mini-series for Disney+. I'd personally be okay with that just because it means we would get more time with the character. Thinking about 12 one-hour episodes versus one 2.5-hour movie. I'll take the 12 hours personally. But again, nothing is concrete and this is all speculation. And on top of that, we've got plenty of time to wait and see what's going to be coming out. Since Disney Plus is going to be released later this year, we're going to have TV shows such as The Mandalorian on there and the Cassian Andor series. So we've got plenty of Star Wars to deal with up until the next movie comes out. And of course, by then, you know, Episode 9 will be out on Blu-ray and DVD. So we'll all have it and we'll be able to access it. And it's probably going to be available from the start on Disney Plus after the movie comes out and goes straight to DVD sales. So it'll be able to be streamed through the Disney Plus service along with everything else Star Wars related. Personally, what I would like to see specifically would be if we go to the Old Republic style and play out the events of KOTOR and KOTOR 2. Not exactly to a T, keep some of the characters, keep some of the ideas, keep it rolling that way, because I would love to see Bastila, I would love to see Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus, Darth Traya, Darth Bane, Scion, all of those great Sith Lords that they created and made that just the biggest time. Because think, we've seen all of the Jedi already. We've watched the original trilogy, we've seen the prequels, we've seen the sequels. They've been so focused on all of the Jedi because at the time, that's when the rule of two was a thing. But if we go back to pre-Bane in the Old Republic's time, we'll have before the rule of two, so we'll have massive armies of Sith Lords just killing each other off for power, and you have such a great story you can tell. So if Benioff and Weiss actually wanted to go and make a Sith film trilogy based in the Old Republic, just based on Sith Lords fighting each other for power in that sense, that would be a great way to look back at the world of Star Wars and see what other kind of stories we can get besides just good versus evil and just stick with evil versus evil, just rising for power out of selfishness and just the want for power in general. It would be a great way to take a step back and look at all of the different scenarios you can get in the Star Wars universe, and I personally think it would make a great, gritty, dark trilogy considering what Benioff and Weiss are known for. But of course, you know, all that is speculation. None of this is concrete, none of this is set in stone yet. I assume we'll probably get some more news in the next couple years. You know, we've only got a few more years before it's actually 2022, so it's not as far away as people think. So before we know it, we'll be standing in line for this next Star Wars film, whatever it may be. But until that time comes and we know exactly what movie we're going to see, that's going to be all for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see more Star Wars videos or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.